So today I'm going to be talking about my book rating system. So I thought maybe it'd be helpful for at least some of you to kind of get a feel of how I rate the books that when I read them. And so this is just going to be a short video going through some of my thinking on the different star ratings that I do and providing some examples of each star. So just as a brief back note to this, I mostly use the Goodreads based rating system of 5 stars, though I do use half stars when they're needed because sometimes a whole star is not quite enough, and I'm always looking for new ways to rate books because the Goodreads system is not quite what I want it to be, because I want to add in those half stars when I need them. And you know, Goodreads is an Amazon based company, so I'm always looking for new ways to rate books aside from Goodreads and Amazon. And as a lot of you know, because you're all readers, sometimes it's more just the feel of the book, and you'll see a little bit of that as I talk through each of the stars, but sometimes you just feel, a book just feels like a certain star without it being under those exact categories. So let's just get right into it. And I'm only going to talk about the whole stars, but just know that there are half stars in there every once in a while. So we'll start at the bottom and work our way up to the top. So a 1 star for me is a book that I have DNF'd. A book that I just couldn't finish for various reasons. Sometimes it's just so bad that I can't do it. Sometimes it's not what I expected when I went into it. Sometimes I just can't concentrate on it. And so one of those, all of my examples are coming from books that I read last year in 2020 also, I should note. So for me, one of my 1 star books, my DNFs last year, is Sometimes a Great Notion by Ken Casey. And this book for me, just the writing style, I couldn't concentrate on it. It jumped from characters' points of view all the time, and it didn't give us any warning, and it jumped from different time periods, and didn't give us any warning when we were going to a new point of view or a new time, a new place, and I couldn't keep track with everything that was going on, and I couldn't follow it at all. I had no idea what the story was, who the main character was, and I just couldn't follow it, so I DNF'd it, and that was one of the 1 star books for me from last year in 2020. Now onto our 2 stars. So a 2 star for me is a book that I read, I finished, and I just didn't like it at all. A lot of times these books become books that I feel like I should have probably DNF'd but kind of forced my way through. A lot of these books are books that were from before I started DNFing books. And so one of these examples is The Devil Wears Prada by Lauren Weisberger, and you've heard me talk about this book before. I forced my way through this book and I didn't enjoy any of it. It was so different than the movie, and it was just not good. That I couldn't relate to any of the characters, I couldn't sympathize with any of them, I didn't like our main character, and it just was not good. So a 2 star for me from last year was The Devil Wears Prada, but also something that probably should have been a 1 star and a DNF, and actually led me into DNFing books when I started reading the second book in that series. I think it's called Revenge Wears Prada. That's another 1 star book for me because I DNF'd that. On to our 3 stars. A 3 star book is a book that I liked but didn't really love. It was a good book but not a great book. It had some problems but not enough to keep me from enjoying it like the 2 star books. A book that I probably won't reread, but I did enjoy reading it. And that last comment is actually ironic because the example I have here is Immortality Awaits by my friend Andrew Stillman. And you've heard me talk about this book before. I've done reviews and I've done vlogs about this book, and why that last comment about rereading a book is ironic is because I'm actually helping Andrew through his rewrites of this book, Immortality Awaits. So I'm kind of not necessarily rereading it, but reading some revisions that he has of the book, and some of it is similar and some of it is totally different. And so it's kind of a reread of this, but generally 3 stars are books that I enjoyed but probably won't reread again. A 4 star book is a book that I loved, I would consider a great book, and a book that I may reread at some point. I really enjoyed it, but not quite a 5 star book. You know how those are. 4-star books are 3 and 4-star books are, I think, probably my most popular ratings, and these are where a lot of the half stars come in. I generally do 3.5 or 4.5 stars when it doesn't quite feel a 3 or a 4-star, but not quite the next level. And so my example for this is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, and this is book 2 in the Mistborn series, Era 1, and I really enjoyed this book, but it had a little bit too much of that political talk and not enough action, I'd say, in a fantasy book for me, but I really enjoyed it, and depending on how I feel about Hero of Ages, I may reread this series, I may just leave it at that, and just move on to more Brandon Sanderson books. I already have 2 more Brandon Sanderson books lined up in my 2021 reads, and so I'll probably, maybe eventually somewhere down the road in years in the future, I'll go back to the Mistborn series because I really enjoyed these characters. So this is a 4-star. This was a 4-star for me. Probably go back and reread it at some point, but not positive. And then the last one is our 5-star reads, and these are books that I absolutely loved, hands down, amazing books. It just had that 5-star feel. You know what I'm talking about when I say it has that 5-star feel. Often leaves me speechless, or I can't stop thinking about the book after I read it, or even while I'm reading it. I often already want to reread it as soon as I finished it, and for me, one of those books from last year was, of course, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This book was so good, and I just kept thinking about this book as I was reading it, and when I finished it, I couldn't stop thinking about this book. And I just recommend it to everyone that asks for book recommendations, and I can't wait to get on to the next books of this series, The Burning God and The Dragon Republic. I've heard this series just gets better and better as it goes on, so I can't wait for that. So that's just kind of a brief run through of my rating system, but as you know, rating books is often just how the book feels to you. So this is a very loose system. Sometimes books that would fall under the category of 4 stars are 5 stars just because it's so good, and vice versa. And then there's also the series ratings, which are a whole different ballgame. Now that I'm reading more series, I'll be doing more series reviews, and maybe at some point I'll do a quick video on how I rate a series, but first I gotta figure out how I'm gonna rate the series. So that's it for now. That's my rating system. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you rate books in the comments, or like I said, if you have rating systems that work for you that are better than the 5-star Goodreads ratings, let me know what those are in the comments, or send me a message, hit me up on the Discord, and I can't wait to talk about rating systems with you all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell all your friends, and keep reading. See y'all soon.